Welcome back to this channel. We're going to jump right in today, talking about an issue that I think we need to discuss. So much has happened in 2024, and the nation is starting to heal from all of the controversy that has taken place. However, we as foundational Black Americans or freedmen need to refocus, in a sense, and direct all of the energy that we have put into other groups, other people, other movements. We need to divert all of that energy into ourselves. For hundreds of years, we have been the ride or die for so many people, for so many cultures, for so many nations, that we often forget about ourselves. That is in our DNA. That is in our nature. To help those who are either less fortunate, those who need help, we always come to the rescue for other people. And it is now time for us to divert that energy that we have put into others into ourselves. Now, this video is not meant for hate. It's not meant to discriminate or anything like that. But there are topics that we must talk about as a people in order to move forward together. And that's what this video is about. Now, with a lot of people that have come into the U.S., not just these past 3.5 years, but even prior to that, the Civil Rights Act, we fought, our people fought, in order for people of every skin color to come in and be a part of the fabric of the United States. However, our efforts and the efforts of our forefathers have gone unnoticed and is very unappreciative when it comes down to other groups. We see on a daily how we are disrespected, how we are overlooked, and it's time that we stop that. It is time that we stand up for who we are and what we are. We have built this country, and don't take my word for it. Of course, if you are an FBA, you already know this. I want to specify the difference because you will hear me on several videos interchanging FBA and ADOS, and Tariq Nasheed clarified that the other day on his talk show. So I just want to make you aware of the difference between FBA and ADOS. FBA stands for Foundational Black Americans, meaning we are the people who built the country. Whether we were here already with the indigenous people, or if we came by way of the Atlantic slave trade. A lot of mixing went on during that time. Even prior to Columbus coming over here, we were trading with the natives, and a lot of us stayed during that time, and then others came again with the American slave trade. So with that being said, the difference between ADOS, that is actually an organization exclusively for American descendants of slaves. It is an organization. FBA is actually an ethnic group. It can also be interchanged with the word freedmen, those who are descendants of those who were freed during slavery. So FBA and freedmen are the same thing. It just specifies our lineage. Jesse Jackson did us a very huge disservice when he came out in 1988 with the word African American. That is not us at all. Our roots to Africa varies depending on your family. However, when we came to America and when we started a whole new culture, we had what Tyreek and what the dictionary would describe as ethnogenesis. We started a whole different lineage at that point. So we became something else. Whether you or your ancestors were here already as native indigenous people, or whether you came by way of the Atlantic slave trade. Now you may say, well, what does it matter? It matters a lot, because there are a lot of people who look like us who are not like us. Kendrick Lamar, when I did a reaction to that song earlier this year, of course everybody was just dancing because they like the rhythm, they like the beat, they like the arrangement of the song. But that song was so deep and it meant something. It really was a brief history lesson on the fact that everyone that looks like us are not us. There are a lot of people on mainstream media that has our same skin color. However, they are not working towards our benefit. They cosplay into looking like us so that they can get those benefits that were for us. And that has happened for many years.
How do I say this? Respectfully, I'm not your people. You're not my people. I don't roll like that. Just because we have the same skin color doesn't mean that you're my people or vice versa. And this is something that I've seen as an immigrant who has been living in the United States of America for more than a decade now. This past couple of years, people like you see me and automatically assume that I'm a slave descendant, my ancestors are slaves, and then they expect us to think the same way, act the same way.
As an African living in the United States, I used to share the same sentiment that Africans share about African Americans, because I had a hard time when I first moved here. People used to always tell me, you're not black enough, you're an Oreo, you're secretly white on the inside, as if I wasn't literally from Africa. But I now understand after living here for 8 years that black in the United States is a very specific criteria, and anything outside of that just doesn't fit. But I want to help African Americans understand that Africans coming to the United States are immigrants, first and foremost. Then they are Nigerian or Senegalese or whatever country they're from, and then at some point they are black. But Africans don't put black high up on their identity well, as much as African Americans do. And that is for legitimate reasons on both ends. And so when an African is coming to the United States, they're thinking to themselves, okay, I'm an immigrant here, I have to do my best for myself and my family back home. The sacrifices that took for me to get here were no light work, okay? So I need to really align myself with what's going to make me successful in this country. And because it's the United States, it's the dominant culture, which is white American culture. And so Africans are going to instinctively ally themselves with the culture that's going to give them the most success.
About us.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans, but for African American communities all throughout our land.
Now we know this. We know what we have done in this nation. That is not a surprise. But for so many that come over here the disrespect from other people is mind-blowing to me. I believe in treating everybody as I would want to be treated. I wish that it could be to where we could work with all people, not based off of the color of our skin or where we come from, but that we could work with all people, and that all people of color that comes over here understand that they are over here only because of the fight that our forefathers did in order for them to be able to come over here. But that is not the case. I don't know if you recalled a few months ago, there was, I believe it happened in Ohio, where a nurse practitioner was pretending to be a doctor, and she had Black Americans, FBAs, to come into her practice. I don't know what transpired, but she went off calling us, slaves, and we come from slaves, and just being downright disrespectful, to the point where it triggered so many of us that we started calling. And the last that I checked on that, her license was suspended because we did not tolerate that type of disrespect. But many people come over here to take away from what we have built, and it is high time for us to do better and to start working together, regardless to what your political stance is. All that energy that we put towards other people, parties, fraternities, sororities, we need to put that energy back into our communities.
On a small scale, a local developer creating a community of micro homes to make the dream of homeownership affordable at a time when housing costs, well, they just keep going up.
All new this morning, 11 Alive's Ariana Moniz spoke to the developer who's changing the landscape of the housing market right here in Atlanta.
Here, this was nothing. It was dirt.
Booker T. Washington created a community of his own.
It's time to bring a little bit of that back. It's time to bring back a little bit of that neighborly feel.
South Park Cottage is a neighborhood of 29 micro-homes, located 15 minutes from downtown and 5 minutes from the airport. It's the first of its kind in Atlanta and the first Black-owned micro-community in the entire country.
In South Park Cottages, we had the spectrum of people buy a home here. You have empty nesters, you have people downsizing, you have millennials, you have Gen Xers just starting out.
The idea started on paper.
That was the original idea of South Park.
Washington's dream is now making owning a home a reality for many. Prices range from $180,000 to $230,000 and about 400 to 600 square feet in size.
The average home in the Atlanta metro area, which is well over $425,000, there is a majority, over 70% of individuals that don't make incomes to meet that level.
WNBA star and Olympian Angel McCautry purchased one of the homes as an investment property.
These are affordable homes, but you get the features of $1 million home.
Features like tall ceilings, community walking paths, balconies, and fire pits.
Stormwater drain-off systems that are state-of-the-art. We have solar panels.
And as Washington built his dream, he hopes to expand.
I don't want to hold this video much longer because I could go on for days, but I want to keep it short. But this is something to think about. As our children grow older, especially if we have those who are in high school, getting ready to transition into adult life, some people just aren't meant for college. Some people don't want the debt. Some people don't find it necessary. But there are so many skills, so many trades that we can encourage our children to become and that are needed in today's workforce. We could have those companies that we once had once upon a time. It is not hard. We have just got to pull together. Man, black man can't be against black woman. Black woman can't be against black man. We are all we have. You can try to go outside of your lineage to find peace, joy, and happiness and create a family, but it's nothing like having your lineage. It's nothing like having a partner in life that can relate to you, to be able to be relatable, to understand the struggle, so that you both together can come out of the struggle and produce productive offspring and have them to go a little bit further than what you did. So let me know what you think. I don't want to hold this video much longer, but I am excited of the possibility of where we can go if we get the message out that we are all we have and we have got to act as such. Please share, like, comment below, and I will see you in the next video. May the Most High bless.